The Portland Trailblazers have probably frustrated me much more than any other playoff team because, like other playoff teams, the Portland Trailblazers have talent, but also like other playoff teams, the Portland Trailblazers haven't done the best job building around their talent to make them true contenders. Don't get me wrong, making the playoffs is an accomplishment in itself. But there's a major difference between just making the playoffs and being there and contending, going in knowing that you have a shot. The Portland Trailblazers have a generational point guard in Damian Lillard. Say what you want about Lillard, I'm going to sit here and call him generational because the guy has been that good for virtually his whole career. The Portland Trailblazers' failure to put together a true contender has led to some people vastly underrating one of the best point guards in today's game. Bro, Damian Lillard is so dirty, I honestly feel like we're being robbed of more great moments, just like this one.
Lillard, long range three, and it's good at the buzzer!
Do you know the amount of concentration it takes to knock down this shot? To even think about taking this shot is something that is disgusting. On top of that, Paul George contested this shot. I understand it's the final shot in the game, but that is a ridiculous amount of respect. Damian Lillard had all of the time in the world to get closer to the basket, to get a better look, and he said, no, you know what? I think this is cool. How many players in the NBA do you guys think are even allowed to think about taking that shot? Man, Dame averaged 33 points per game that series. In game 5, he closed them out with 50 points, while casually going 10 of 18 from deep. Like the casual deep dagger that I showed you guys earlier, there aren't many players in the NBA that are capable of doing what Damian Lillard does. But regardless of how good Damian Lillard has been, it just hasn't been enough for the Portland Trailblazers. This offseason, there has been a lot of speculation surrounding Damian Lillard's next move. And I'm here to tell you guys that we have a major update. But before we get into that and what's next for the Portland Trailblazers, we have to get a word from our sponsor. Guys, this video is brought to you by Ridge, where their motto is carry less so you can live more. I don't know about you guys, but I've kind of grown tired of the traditional wallet. It's just so bulky and it can be a hassle to get out of your pocket. Ridge has you covered. Check out this sleek design. I love how sleek it is, how minimalistic it is, but also they don't sacrifice quality. This Ridge wallet is incredibly sturdy. If you don't believe me, maybe the lifetime warranty that comes with the wallet can convince you about the wallet's sturdiness and how confident that Ridge is in their product. As a matter of fact, Ridge is so confident in this product that they'll let you test drive it for 45 days, and if you don't love it, they'll issue you a full refund. This product has over 40,000 reviews, guys. For those of you that carry a lot of cards, Ridge lets you carry up to 12 cards, and how convenient, they also have a spot for you to carry some cash. For those of you interested in buying this wonderful wallet, they have over 30 styles and colors to choose from. Be sure to check out the Ridge wallet by clicking the link in the description below. Also, the link is on the screen too. Use code DCOOP at checkout for 10% off your order. Again, I want to give a major shout out to Ridge for coming through, sending me this wallet, and supporting the channel. Now, with that being said, let's get back to the content. I feel like this offseason, Damian Lillard has been more vocal than I've ever seen Damian Lillard. Lillard has always struck me as somebody that isn't always the loudest in the room, but when they speak, you need to listen. Damian Lillard has built his brand on being humble and grinding to get to where he needs to go. Earlier this offseason, Damian Lillard dropped a mammoth of a quote that got everybody turning their head. Quote, I didn't come into the league worrying about what others were doing in the organization. I didn't come in with that type of mentality. But I've been active in probably 95% of the games in my career. I've played through injuries, and I've been a part of 2 rebuilds. I feel like I've experienced everything with the Trailblazers, and I've worn that jersey with a badge of honor and with a lot of pride and care. I never felt like my job was to go in and critique what other people were doing in the organization. My job was to make sure the team is functioning and trying to lead them to the best results. I've always assumed everybody's mentality was the same. I think Dame's mentality is gas. He wasn't the highest draft pick. He wasn't the most hyped prospect coming out. And I'm not saying he was a low draft pick by any means. The guy was picked in the lottery. But what I'm trying to say is that Dame has had to work for everything in his career. Nobody knew what his career was going to look like when he was drafted. Who would have known that a kid from Weber State would come into the NBA and help change the way we view deep three-point shots? Keep in mind that when Dame was drafted, there weren't a lot of small college guys getting the looks that Dame got. Dame went on to say everybody in the organization must look in the mirror because we've constantly come up short. We have to look in the mirror and say, I have to be better because whatever it is that we're doing, it's not working and it's not giving us a shot to compete on the level that we want to compete on. Dame went on to say that this is such a pivotal time for him and the Portland Trailblazers because he's not getting any younger. The environment's been great. We don't lose a ton, but we've got to come out and we have to beat teams like the Denver Nuggets, who are without one of their best players and key rotational guys. Now, this next part really turned a lot of heads. Dame said that we have positive seasons. We don't just end up with a championship. So I feel like at a point, I basically have to make a decision that if you do what you've always done, you'll be where you have always been. And then he posted this to IG. It's on the screen right now. I mean, honestly, it didn't help dim any speculation, but what it did do was paint a broader picture that let everybody know that Dame thinks about this stuff too. This guy wants to win. Now, while I can't speak for Damian Lillard, I can speak for myself. The Portland Trailblazers have a talented roster. I wouldn't be shocked if they made a deep run this year. They're a good team on paper, but the problem is that the on-paper teams have not translated to winning at the highest level. And despite the Blazers not translating, they have absolutely refused to shake up their core. And I'm not talking about bringing in guys like Robert Covington or bringing in guys like Derrick Jones or guys like Norman Powell. No, I'm saying that the Blazers have refused to make a major move. And when I think major move, I think of a move that gets the Blazers another number 2. I think Damian Lillard is in that tier to where he's so good to where you shouldn't feel bad trading 4 or 5 first-round picks to try to get another star and build around him. Now, you guys could let me know if I'm tripping down in the comments below, but I really believe that when you have star talent, you have to go for it. If the Kawhi Clippers never went on to win a ring, well, at least they tried. They had the team. Imagine how heartbreaking it is for Dame to think that if there's going to be a year to win it all, that it's this year and they get bounced in the first round to the Denver Nuggets. There was a game in this Nuggets series where I think Dame may have had the best playoff game I've ever seen, dropping 55 points on 17 of 24 from the field and 12 of 17 from the three-point line. Also a major note, Chauncey Billups said that he doesn't want to shoot 50 threes a game. He doesn't believe in that. Dame takes 11 threes a game by himself. As a matter of fact, he's one of the best volume shooters in NBA history. It's worth noting that the Blazers were second in three-point attempts per game last season with 41. Who was number 1? The Utah Jazz. While Chauncey can make the Blazers a better team, it's also worth noting that Dame said, I don't disagree that Chauncey can change our team and make us better and get us going in that direction. But if you look at our team as it's going into the next season, I don't see how you can say this is a championship team. You just need a new coach. When you lost in the first round with who was hurt. Comments, didn't James Harden have a similar quote? Completely different situations, but didn't he have a similar quote? Now, earlier this offseason, Dame spoke on the reports that he planned to demand a trade. He said this.
I woke up to those reports. A lot of people reaching out to me. Number one, it's not true. And secondly, I'll also say that I haven't made any firm decision on, what my future will be. So
now the second part is what really gets me, especially considering that he also just recently said this.
Always said I want to play in Portland. I want to win in Portland. and I still feel that way.
Dame, are you leaving PDX? I'm not leaving PDX right now, at least.
For those of you that could not hear, on IG Live, Damian Lillard says, "I'm not leaving Portland. Not right now, at least." I want to know how you guys feel about Dame saying this. Do you think this is Dame possibly leaving the door open to leave later in the season in case things did go south? Or do you guys think this is Dame just applying pressure trying to get Portland to make a major move? I think the Portland Trailblazers have been a very unlucky team, and unfortunately I haven't talked about that enough this video. That being said, I would not be shocked to see this team make a move before the season started. Even if it's in a small capacity, if you're getting Dame's input on head coaching, then I'm sure you're probably getting some input on who he would like to play with. If Dame somehow ever got traded, where would you guys most want to see him, and where would be most realistic? I got you guys covered all offseason. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications right now. Clicking the video on the screen is a great way to support my channel. I'm Get Like Coop, bringing you guys the scoop. Until our next upload.